Hello and welcome back to another episode of Whiskey Wednesday. Today we will be trying the Jack Daniels and AJ Fernandez's New World El Gobernador. My name is Javier Cobas and you are watching The Lounge. It smells like I'm walking down a very long garden. Gold, silver, platinum, almond butter, chalky, slight honey as well. It's not spicy, not yet. Just getting all this flavor all at once. Very complimentary, I would say. Definitely what I would be looking for if I got a bottle. Alright, so before we get started, I want to give a huge shout out to @Robert Rivera Worldwide. He's the one that provided us with the Jack Daniels yet again. And then another quick shout out to @Scotch Society 305 on Instagram. They gave us the Glenclair glass, something like that, the whiskey tasting glass that we use on Whiskey Wednesdays. And so without further ado, let's just jump right into the review. The AJ Fernandez New World El Gobernador. It's a Nicaraguan leaf and tobacco used in it. In terms of smell, getting a lot of wood, sweetness, some berries, very light wood, like similar to plywood or wood shavings. Say it has a smoky smell to it as well, so like smoked wood, and then the sweet, sharp smell of a berry bush, maybe like berry juice. Getting specifically like cranberry and pineapple, the scent from it. Probably like an old barn sitting on the very edge of a country, overlooking maybe either a lake. Well, no, because it has definitely the pineapples, so very tropical farm with an old barn, and that's where I'm getting a lot of the smoked wood. Maybe they use a lot of, firewood to cook their foods, and they have a big fire pit with a barbecue grill, something like that. I think the complexion of this cigar is going to play very well with the whiskey that we're about to try. So that's we need to do the sight because we never did sight. Good thing I did this before we cut the cigar. So sight, it's a very dark brown. It looks very matured, nice fermented Maduro. Definitely off the nose, I got a lot of flavor from it. So definitely looks like a more full bodied just off sight, and then obviously some smell that I got from it. But just off sight alone, it does look a very full bodied as well. The label is very cool too. I think it features Christopher Columbus or some pilgrimage arriving in the United States or arriving into, it's called the New World. So, but otherwise, if you don't really pay attention to this, then I can see how you would kind of overlook it. And I think in terms of sight, the label isn't a very important factor in the sight aspect, because you might have a really good cigar but then have a bad label, and then who's going to want to buy a cigar with a bad label on it? Unless you already know that the blend is just superb. If not, you wouldn't get that cigar. Sight was very good. Smell, it smelled above average in terms of good or bad, so I think it's doing very well right now. This isn't about the cigar by itself, it's also about the whiskey, so let's crack that open. Just a little. Alright. So smell, as usual. You see you got that nice smoky oaky smell to it. Kind of aromatic, it's not too much. Slight spice on the nose as well. Your typical Jack Daniels, the traditional bottle, the old number 7. It's just your traditional. And then the cigar, so let's go ahead and cut that. I've never really checked draw, but I've come to terms that it is something that I should be checking more often. I think draw is an important aspect of that as well, in terms of construction and overall quality of the cigar. If it has bad draw, you're not going to enjoy it later. Let's go ahead and light it up. No spice whatsoever on the first puff, at least. Initially, how I called it, very oaky. Tastes more Christmassy. Oak in the winter, very dried out, rather than a full bloomed tree, I guess you would call it. There's something Christmassy about it. Dry wood, what I was talking about, the bonfire. So definitely there's this winter season kind of feel to this cigar. I guess the New World Thanksgiving kind of plays into it. This is, me saying this completely, but this feeling that you've arrived at this new land I'm gonna be honest. Great name, great label, superb job by the AJ Fernandez team, marketing team that came up with this, because it really is touching. Wow, the new world, and I'm getting instantly like this harvest, and I had never even looked at the label before and really connected what the label was trying to show with the name New World. And now smoking it after I had realized that during the sight aspect of this review, it has this vibe to it that is equivalent to the vibe you get around Thanksgiving, and the label itself is showing what Thanksgiving was all about, which is like the pilgrims arriving at North America. Even if it's not North America, I think the idea itself of exploring the new land, and that's really what I guess Thanksgiving is about. And we always have these convoluted discussions like, oh, like, I'm not going to get into it. We can stop right there. I'm not going to get into it. But we always have these conversations as humans about these actions and holidays. And so I think maybe one of those aspects, it all started with the immigration coming in from Europe, in the 1400s, 1500s, 1600s. So definitely very good job by the designer of the label and the marketing team that came up with the name. And then, of course, to the master blender that came up with this blend of tobacco, because it's very, very good. And I haven't even talked about it, so let's start picking apart the flavors that are coming out of it. This dried out wood that I was talking about, definitely this very strong essence of oak coming into the cigar. And then hints of spice right on the tongue. Not a lot. It's a little bitter, kind of like a mossy spores beginning to grow on it. Mushrooms. Very round shapes I'm getting from the smoke as well. The sweetness that I was talking about earlier in the smell, you're really sensing that at the roof of the mouth. It's kind of like a maple syrup. Again, very little spice on the tongue, nowhere else in the mouth. This is, spice-wise, not a spicy cigar at all. One of the more soily cigars. Because I guess the bitterness is also described as kind of like a little sandy, dry dirt right on the mouth, on the tongue. It's not so much earthy as it is soily, or the texture of soil, rather, is what I'm trying to say. I'm enjoying myself way too much. It's time to taste the whiskey. So we got it poured up here. Smell, we talked about smoky. And I guess this one's a little smoky as well. The actual cigar is a bit charred. I don't know the word. Smoked, I guess it's the best word to use for it. Barbecue, bonfire taste to it as well. And then this one had a lot of those complexions right onto the nose. So I'm thinking it's either going to be very good together, or it's just not going to mix well at all, because it's coming from two completely different places, and so it might just not pair together. We're about to find out. Definitely adding to it. I think it's going on the good side right now. It really brought out a lot of colors that were hidden away inside the cigar. I'm getting colors like a fruit basket, fruit cake on Christmas, after Thanksgiving, the holiday season's coming around, getting all this dessert. Very fruity as well. Very fruity. And it's mixing together into like this cake of a baked wood with fruits and syrup, caramel, honey. Some chocolate as well is coming out now after puffing on the cigar and tasting the whiskey. One of the better ones I've tried with this whiskey. Construction is also doing very well. Cigar is nice and burning evenly. A hint of nut as well. I think that just about does the tasting part. I mean, I've gotten what I need to from it. Very, very good pairing. Very happily surprised. Every week I guess I find a better pairing, because it's only gotten better since the last couple times I've done it. I'm guessing this would go good with a lot of bourbons as well, because a lot of bourbons usually have that smoky oaky is what I'm going to call it, that smoky oaky essence to them. Alright, that about does it for the taste aspect of this review. I think I'm ready to rate this cigar and whiskey pairing. Very good combination by the old number 7 Jack Daniels and the AJ Fernandez New World El Gobernador. All in all, the cigar by itself, very smoky, woody, a hint of sweet berries, maybe pineapples. Whiskey by itself had a very aromatic, smoky and oaky as well. but we've done that before, so we already knew that. And so together they kind of created this cake of this fruit cake where it felt, it literally, I jumped in time all the way to November already, and I felt like I was sitting at Thanksgiving dinner having my cake, my smoked ham, and whatever else it is that you eat there that's very, got this nut, all these different flavors coming in at Thanksgiving dinner is really what this tasted like. It's phenomenal blend by the master blender and a phenomenal job by the marketing team that came up with the label and the name for the cigar. Taking all that into consideration, it is now time to rate the cigar, and so on Whiskey Wednesdays we give the Jack Daniel's Old No. 7 and the New World El Gobernador by AJ Fernandez an outstanding 8.9. I was about to too late. 8.9. I was going to change it now to a 9.0, but 8.9, I think that just about makes the high score. Let me check right now. Oh no, I just checked. The Padron 1926 number 35 has a 9.0 on Whiskey Wednesday, meaning this is second place. So AJ Fernandez, New World marketing team, you did very well. As you saw, the ash just fell. Normal, what can you expect? But very good cigar, very good pairing. Second place on the lounge, I mean that's a big deal. We've tried 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 cigars on the lounge, and this one is in second place out of 10. So thank you guys so much for watching, staying tuned to the end of the episode. Please show some love to at Robert Rivera Worldwide and at Scotch Society 305 on Instagram, as well as at Gables Cigars for facilitating the episode and the ability for us to make these reviews. And then follow us at thelounge.media. If you like what you heard and saw and you want to see more, if you're either watching this on YouTube, in which case like and subscribe, please. That helps a lot. Lets us know that you're active and wanting to watch the series. And then if you're listening to this on the podcast, go ahead and favorite our station. Again, I don't know which platform you're working on if you didn't know at this point. We're also on Anchor.fm, which is a podcast app all within itself. You can create and make your own podcast and upload them to all the different podcast services. So thank you guys so much for staying tuned to the end of the episode. I'll catch you guys tomorrow for Thoughtful Thursdays.